Hi there, and this is Ruben from Dutch Round 1. Thanks again for coming by. Thanks for watching another episode. As always, I appreciate your time and I appreciate your support. Today, I've got some Dutch grammar for you. We are going to take a look at prefixes in the Dutch language. But before we do that, if you like this, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you want more content, and let me know in the comments if this was useful for you or not. But without much further ado, let's go straight for our grammar lesson. Alright, so today I said we're going to talk about prefixes, but before we do that, I would like to give you the definition so we can understand each other better during the course of this lesson. So what is a prefix? Well, prefixes are 1 to 3 syllable affixes added to the beginning of a base word to slightly change its meaning. For instance, impossible. Now, if you take a look at that word, we have im and we have possible. So we have two parts. Im, English, can in this case freely be translated as not. And then our main adjective, possible, stays the same. So impossible is actually not possible. So now you can see basically the impact a prefix has to a word. Possible and impossible are completely different words with completely different meanings. So that is the function of a prefix in the English language and also in the Dutch language. Now we are going to take a look at some prefixes in the Dutch language, and we'll start off with the word or the prefix be, right? be, pronounced in Dutch be. And what does that one do? Well, basically it changes intransitive verbs to transitive verbs. All right. An example of a transitive verbs in English could be to buy. I buy a cookie. What do I buy? A cookie. So a cookie is our object. An intransitive verb can be listen. I listen. What? You can't really say that in English. Doesn't make sense. So there's no direct object there. I listen to something. So you need a preposition in order to complete that question. All right. So intransitive verbs, no object. Transitive verbs, an object. Alright, so let's take a look at the examples. Heb je dit lied al beluisterd? Heb je deze film al bekeken? Have you listened to this song already? Have you watched this movie already? Okay, so beluisteren and bekijken are both transitive verbs. Then we compare it to, heb je al naar dit lied geluisterd? Heb je al naar deze film gekeken? Alright? So luisteren en kijken are intransitive verbs. Why? Because if you look at the sentence, you need naar. Ik luister naar een lied. Ik kijk naar een film. Alright? In English, the first sentence can be translated correctly to give you a better understanding. I listen to a song. So you also have to, you also have that preposition. Alright? So that's the prefix be in the Dutch language. We continue with the prefix her, and it implies repetition. Alright, so we'll take a look at the examples and then we will translate them so you have a good idea of what her actually means and implies as a prefix. So hij is opnieuw herkozen. He has been repetition, elected again. We zullen de tekst moeten herschrijven. We will have to repetition write the text. Alright, so the prefix her in the Dutch language basically implies repetition. Herkiezen, to re-elect. Herschrijven, to rewrite. Alright, simple as that. We continue with the next one, ont as a prefix. Alright, so ont can have several implications of meaning. The first one can be denial, opposition, but sometimes it can also be the beginning of an action. We'll take a look at the examples. I'll translate them for you and it'll make more sense afterwards. Hij ontkende alle feiten. He denied all facts. Alright, so kennen is to know. Ont is a denial. So he, let's say to translate it badly, he knew or he disknew all facts. So he denied all facts. Right? So that was the first one. The second one, in de zomer kunnen alle leerlingen ontspannen. In the summer, all students, all pupils can relax. Alright? Spannen can be something which is tight. You know, it can be very tight. So an opposition of spannen would be loose, so relax. In de zomer kunnen alle leerlingen ontspannen. In the summer, all students can relax. And then, we moeten uit deze nachtmerrie ontwaken. We moeten uit deze nachtmerrie ontwaken. So we have to wake up from this nightmare. So to wake up is basically a beginning of an action. It's basically going from a sleeping state to a woken up state. Alright? So these are the 3 examples where the prefix ont is used for. It can be used for denial, opposition, and also sometimes the beginning of an action. Alright? So this is how the prefix ont influences the main word or the main verb in this case. We'll take a look at the last prefix for today, and the last prefix for today is ver. Alright? Ver, ver, ver. Can be negative, it can be becoming, so entering into a state of, or it can be completion. Alright, so these are the implications of the prefix ver in the Dutch language. Let's take a look at the examples and then basically everything will be clearer. Iedereen verdenkt hem van de misdaad. Alright, everybody suspects him of the crime. Now, denken is to think, verdenken is to suspect. Alright, so to think is rather neutral, suspect has rather a negative connotation. Hij heeft zijn vriendenkring vergroot. He has made his circle of friends bigger. Alright, so it was big already, but it became bigger. So it entered into a new state, it became a bigger state, it became bigger. So in this case, the prefix ver implies a becoming, an evolution. Alright, and then we have completion. Hij heeft het patent verkregen. He has received the patent. Alright, you can also say krijgen, but if you say verkrijgen, it basically implies that that person had to do quite a lot of effort to receive that patent. So it's basically a completion of all the effort he did in order to get the patent. Alright, so this was the prefix ver in the Dutch language. So these were 4 prefixes of the Dutch language. I hope you liked it. I hope you find it useful, and I hope it gave you some better explanation on some doubts you might have had. I want to thank you again for watching. If you like this content, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you want more, and let me know in the comments if this was useful for you or not. If you want to help out the channel, go to the description box, click on the Buy Me a Coffee link, and I will greatly appreciate it. I want to thank you again for watching, and stay tuned for another episode of Dutch Round 1. Ciao!